speaker is from the teaching union, the NEU, Cormac Kelly. Cormac, there you go.
To be fair, there were no space for him to walk around, was there?
Can't you? I've come to speak in a personal capacity from the National Education Union. We had a meeting on Thursday night. Part of that meeting was taken up with discussing an action which teachers are going to be taking in probably in the autumn term. Up to the present time, there's been a great deal of discontent amongst teachers. Wages have been cut. Even on top of that, or added to that, is a whole issue of working conditions, the issue of the huge workload which has been dumped on the heads of teachers throughout the country. And added to that is the fact that the Ofsted inspections are going to be intensified, and more pressure is going to be put on people inside schools. Not only are teachers suffering, but the people we try to teach, children, classrooms, are being put through an examination system which would make something written by Charles Dickens look quite progressive. So there's a great deal of anger amongst teachers. There's a great deal of a feeling of a need to be involved in some kind of action. Instead of talking, instead of moaning, industrial action, I think, will follow. So we'll be organising in our branch in Kirklees and throughout the country, contacting teachers, talking to them, organising meetings of reps, organising meetings of activists inside the teachers' union, not only amongst teachers, but our colleagues in the NAS will be approaching, and also those people in the National Education Union that aren't classroom teachers, but who are assistants and so on. So we will be campaigning for a large majority of teachers to go out and vote in the ballot, stride action, and to get an overwhelming majority. I think the time has come. The teachers have got to stand up for themselves, stand up for the children which they teach, stand up for our education system. So I believe that's something which we will see in the autumn, and we are inspired by the magnificent struggle of the RMT, and of course in this town also the bus workers, the bus drivers are also on strike. I must say personally, I remember some of the action from the 1970s and the 1980s, and I think the whole what's happening now is total bliss, to be honest. But I mean, that's just my own personal opinion. You know, at last, working people are getting off their knees, and at last, working people defying the press, defying the media, defying the Tories and all their mates that tell people that, you know, striking is the wrong thing to do, and one day everything will be fine. And sadly, well, let me give you a bit of history. In 1900, the Amalgamated Railway Servants moved a resolution for their conference. These are the forerunners of the RMT, the Amalgamated Railway Servants, and that resolution was to establish a new party, to establish a Labour Representation Committee that working people could vote for. And very sadly, I have to say, I've reached the conclusion that it's time for the RMT to perhaps do something similar, because I think it is quite disgraceful that the leader of the Labour Party spends all his time throwing people out, can't get himself down to a picket line, can't get himself down to supporting decent, ordinary working people, and stand shoulder to shoulder with them. There are lots of good. There are lots of good Labour councillors, lots of good Labour MPs who've come down. Of course, they've been threatened, and I think that is a crying shame, and it is a disgrace. And the Labour Party, if it wants to win an election, if it wants the support of working people, it's about time it actually stood up for working people, particularly the character at the top. Okay, so I've enjoyed this this rally, enjoyed listening to the speeches, and I'll enjoy continuing listening to speeches as well. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Cormac. Always worries me when a teacher says I'm going to go back in history. Just don't know how long you're going to be there for.